All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real music in real time for real people just like you right there and just like me right here. So here it is, the Melodic Rock album of 2020. I got my hands on it, autographed copy of Pinnacle Point's Symphony of Mind, courtesy of Escape Music. Want to thank Khalil Turk and his crew over at Escape. Number one, they always put out quality material over at Escape, even if it's not in my wheelhouse, musically speaking. It's always done with an emphasis on great production, great recording techniques, really great players over there. They have a stable of great musicians, including Tommy Denander, who actually worked on this record along with Jerome Mazza and Torben Enevoldsen. I mean, this is just a great album. I'm fortunate because I actually have both albums. This one from 2017, I was raving about back in those days, and nobody knew who this was. And I don't know, an algorithm got me to this album, and was probably listening to some Kansas music, and one of those websites said, hey, if you like Kansas, you should listen to this. Well, this thing is above and beyond what I even expected. I knew it was going to be good, but what makes this really good is that the material itself really harkens back to a very classic Kansas sound. Whereas the current band Kansas is they're kind of going in a more straight up progressive direction to some degree. As I've said before, Kansas was about 2 or 3 different things together. They were about progressive rock, sure. They had classical elements embedded within that. And then they were also about great, great vocals. And I don't want to do too much commentary on vocals. I want to be diplomatic. All I can say is that Jerome Mazza is the premier vocalist singing this kind of music currently. He just is. All right? With all apologies to Kansas and what they're doing right now. Again, just want to show you the inside of the album. Some pretty cool artwork on the inside. So the vocals, and then you've got production values. So it's more than 3 things really with Kansas. But in the old days, like I think I said either in this review or on another YouTube video I did, was that there was a combination of things happening where you'd go from one song, which was maybe an 8-9 minute track that embodied a real sort of excursion, very self-indulgent, musically speaking. In other words, the musicians were allowed to do, long solos. The vocalist was allowed to really stretch out. In the case of Symphony of Mind, you're going to hear all of that, but then you're going to hear tunes like Weight of the World, which bring you back to kind of a straight up, here's our single off the album, which should be getting airplay, by the way, all across the country right now here in the good old locked down USA. But unfortunately, it's not, because rock radio in the United States and pretty much around the world is abysmal. And, Escape Music, I understand everybody has a budget. These guys can only do so much. It's up to the listener to maybe persuade their local terrestrial. Good luck, though. Terrestrial radio isn't going to respond to what you want. I don't even know if most of these radio stations don't have studio lines. It's like some 1-800 number. So again, kudos to Escape Music for putting together a great lineup in addition to Jerome Mazza, who, again, is the premier vocalist. I'm going to cut to the last paragraph because it's my favorite paragraph. Of course, I wrote it, so I'm just going to read it. The album's title song, and the final one, is truly its magnum opus. The song, by the way, is called Symphony of Mind, a sprawling 7-minute tribute to Kansas legend Kerry Livgren. It's more than homage to Kerry. It's an acknowledgement of his brilliance and how he was so far advanced in his thinking. His writing, the way he just pondered really deep topics and wrote these incredible lyrics. And there couldn't be a better tribute, and I've heard few songs in recent memory that bring this much passion and integrity to a topic. Mazza and his crew sincerely love the early Kansas records. In their zeal, they have crafted their own classic album that will someday be looked back on as an authentic continuation of what Livgren and vocalist Steve Walsh started. The reason I bring Steve Walsh in is because Steve Walsh was legendary. His vocals, even toward the end of his career, his voice getting, weathered because of age and constant singing, constant usage, he was still able to hit notes that he could hit 30, 40 years ago. He was still hitting the notes, just his voice had changed a lot. But few people would argue that Steve Walsh wasn't one of the greatest vocalists in rock music history. And Jerome Mazza is right there with Steve Walsh. If you doubt what I'm saying, go listen to the album Black Butterfly, and you will hear Mazza on some songs, and you'll hear Steve Walsh on other songs. One song you'll actually hear them together, but you won't know when one guy has stopped singing and the other guy has started singing. You might actually figure it out, but they're so close. And Mazza is just so good at what he does. So anyway, this is some indescribably brilliant music that sits on its own plane, far above the din of the noise below. This is the best melodic rock record I've heard this year. And I wrote this back on June 4th, and it's still the best melodic rock album I've heard this year. Pinnacle Point, Symphony of Mind. Go grab your copy, courtesy of Escape Music. Download it, buy a physical CD. These things, someday I fear these things will be collector's items. Especially the new stuff, because who knows? Who knows how much longer record labels are going to make CDs. I know a few of them don't make physical copies. They will allow you to download music, and if you want to download the artwork or something, it's just not the same. But yeah, if you're a Kansas fan and you like the new Kansas record, and I like it too, but with that said, for me, I could listen to Pinnacle Point's new album over and over again. I can't say the same for the Kansas record. There are some moments on the Kansas record that I think are very respectable, and Kansas fans obviously are mostly positive about it and enjoying the album, but really nothing compares to this Pinnacle Point for me this year. So there you have it, folks. Again, thanks to Escape Music, and also just thanks to all of you for watching the videos. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and yes, folks, I'm still in need of your help over on Patreon. We did pick up a new patron yesterday, so I want to thank that person for signing up. I'm going to try to thank people more often if I can remember to do it. I think with aging and so forth, I tend to forget these things. I try to send out personal thank yous to everybody, but sometimes the system itself won't let me message people back, and this has been a recent thing. So if you didn't get a message or a thank you, I apologize, but I'm just letting everybody know that it's a glitch right now when I send the message through Patreon. But in any event, thank you so much for supporting my work and the channel, and I'll be back soon. Next video coming up, so stay tuned for that.